Well, I guess when it comes to like PRing a band, it's not so much. Well, first you need to identify which part of the community you're trying to reach, because within metal there's quite a few different subgenres, and I guess not everybody's going to like everything. Some people are quite specific in their niche interests. What do I look for? I think it always starts with the music, right? Band's got to be good. That's a really important, fundamental part of it. And then after that, it's, well, what else have you thought about? Are you presenting yourself in an interesting way? Are you making yourself stand out somehow? And also more and more, the press want a story. It's not enough to just be, oh, here's a good band, because that's not really very interesting to read about. Like, oh, here's this band and they're really good. Well, there's loads of great bands, It's when you hear a crazy story, and I'm not going to give examples, but lots of people have colourful backgrounds or colourful personalities, and I think that's the kind of thing that I know the press look for, so I'm going to kind of look for when I'm deciding who to work with. I think what people consider heavy music has broadened significantly. Like, there's bands now that really don't have anything to do with metal, but they're appealing to metal fans for some reason. When I first got into metal, I thought being heavy meant you had to be fast. And then I heard Chroma, and I'm like, oh, fuck, this is heavy, but it's slow, So now it's like, it's not just like, oh, you got to be slow and heavy or fast and heavy or loud and heavy, with distorted guitars and loads of drums. I think there's a way of putting out heavy that doesn't need those things. And it's really hard to articulate, but you know it when you see it. So, I mean, Skinned, who played last night, I wouldn't call her metal, but it is heavy and it belongs here. I think what's happening now is that it's just getting more interesting. Like, Lorna Shore are fucking great, right? But they're not, like, in terms of like how heavy they are, I don't think there's anything new there. There's loads of like extremely technical, extreme metal bands with a ridiculous drummer who can, blast like a demon, and crazy guitarists who are just like, what they're doing on their guitars is absolutely insane. I mean, Will, as a vocalist, I think he's exceptional. It's probably a big part of the reason they're having a standout moment. Meshuggah are playing tonight. They've been like the heaviest band for fucking ages. You don't get much heavier than that. So I don't think it's about getting heavier. I think it's what you do with the heavy. We've had all these bands that have, set the bar for what heavy is. And now you've got bands who are like bringing that, but then they're making the music a lot more commercially appealing, like Sleep Token, right? Are they a pop band or are they a metal band? They wouldn't exist without either of those two genres. Their music is like, genty, metal-y stuff, but vocally it's pop. So, yeah, I can't predict the future, but I think, and I'd actually quite like to see this, as bands incorporating that heavy, but also making stuff that, it's our way of sneaking into the mainstream, penetrating the rest of the population.